Welcome to KaiCreative. My name is Kai Song. Today we're discussing the pros and the cons of using an external monitor for your videography and filmmaking projects. So let's jump to it. First up on our list, and one of the most obvious benefits, is having a larger screen size. Those smaller DSLR and mirrorless camera screens don't always cut it when it comes to seeing exactly what you need to see in order to film what you need to film. Now, I'm using the Bestview R7 monitor, which is a 7-inch 4K touchscreen monitor, and it's pretty sharp, allowing me to see much more clearly what I want to film. Another useful reason for using an external monitor is for filming outside. And the Bestview R7 monitor is marked at 1000 nits of brightness. Now, a nit is a measurement of luminance, or the intensity of visible light, and for comparison's sake, the iPhone XR is marked at 625 nits of max brightness. So the R7 monitor itself is not too bad for outside videography and photography. When compared to the LCD screen on the back of your camera, it's generally going to be much brighter and easier to see, especially when shooting in sunnier weather. Another benefit is being able to position the monitor for better viewing. For example, one area where I find external monitors particularly useful is on corporate interviews, where I'm shooting on a 2-camera setup and I want to check to see that my second camera is in focus. Now, traditionally, I've been using the 5D Mark III as my B cam, which doesn't have a flip out screen and doesn't have phase tracking. So having an external monitor mounted and angled on the top of the camera allows me to glance over and ensure that things are composed correctly and also in focus. This scenario also introduces us to another useful piece of functionality, and this is with the focus peaking lines. This is a feature that the 5D Mark III does not include natively, so having the monitor set up allows me to quickly glance over and check that everything is in focus. So again, if you're using older technology that doesn't have something like peaking lines or zebra lines, as long as it has a HDMI output, you can use a screen to compensate for these shortcomings. Now, the R7 here has a HDMI in and out, and it comes with 2 different sized USB cables to accommodate different types of camera. Now, carrying on from this scenario, a third benefit here is having the audio levels visible, especially if I have a Rode mic attached. I can glance over, check and make sure that the audio levels are there, and that the camera is actually recording audio, and that I haven't forgotten to turn the mic on again. Another great feature is having composition lines or grid lines. Most cameras will have this as an option that you can turn on as standard. The R7 monitor here has the ability to split your screen up with 2x2 lines all the way up to 8x8 lines. In general, I'm happy with the 3x3 option, which allows me to line things up according to the rule of thirds. You also have your mark ratio lines for where your black bars will appear for different aspect ratios. For example, 4x3 or 16x9. Also, if you want to add in those cinematic bars later on in your production, these on-screen displays can really assist you with the framing and composition to take these lines into account. Another bonus of having a larger screen is being able to show clients footage or photos that you have taken. Now, I say that this is a bonus, but we all know that clients who constantly want to see the stuff that you've just shot can also be a little bit of a distraction. So having an external monitor on a project can be a little bit of a double-edged sword. But if you're making a short film where people need to gather around and make sure that you've got the right take or the right shot, then having an external monitor will allow you to quickly review your shots and ensure that everybody is happy. Now, most screens will require external power. The Bestview R7 monitor has a battery mount for a standard NP-F battery and also comes with the DTAP cable to power the monitor off of DTAP, which means you are not powering the LCD screen off of your camera, which means in theory you should have longer battery life for your camera. But then again, this means that you need to make sure that you have extra batteries for your monitor. Another great reason for getting a monitor is connectivity. When you purchase a monitor, they can usually connect to most modern cameras. For example, the R7 here can connect to all of my cameras, my 5D Mark III, my 6D, my Mark IV, my G7X Mark II, my Canon M50, and even my GoPro. Although I'm not sure why you'd want to connect it to your GoPro. If anyone out there is using their monitor on a GoPro, Let me know in the comments section, and also let me know why. Having this kind of connectivity is great. If you upgrade your camera, then you still have the ability to reuse your old external monitor. Decking out your rig or your setup with an external monitor can also make you look more professional. I'm not saying it's going to make you more professional, I'm saying it could make you look more professional, especially if you're using smaller DSLR or mirrorless cameras for your videography work. Now, this point might seem pretentious, but there have been countless times that I've turned up to a filming job or a videography job with a DSLR, and I've had the client say that they were expecting a much bigger camera or a much bigger setup. Now, we know as filmmakers and videographers that we can create amazing pieces of content with our smaller cameras, but there still seems to be this stigma among many people, including those hiring you for your videography work, that in order to create amazing content, you need to have a massive camera and you need to have an amazing setup. So just having a rig decked out with all the bells and whistles, including an external monitor, might help you to look more professional in the eyes of your client and stop them from stressing too much about the quality of your work. Now, it's not all peaches and cream when it comes to using external monitors. There are some drawbacks. And one thing to remember is that it's all extra stuff. And that means having extra batteries, it's extra stuff to charge up, extra stuff to remember, to care for, and extra stuff that you have to carry around. And that's not great if you're looking to simplify and lighten your setup. Now, the shortcomings of the R7 monitor in particular are not being able to use pinch zoom on the monitor, and also not being able to use tap focus on your subject of interest. And as you know, for more modern Canon cameras, DPAF or dual pixel autofocus is a massive selling point, so it's a real shame that it doesn't translate through on the Bestview R7 monitor. Now, this particular model is really heavy to mount on your gimbal on your rack, and it simply doesn't work with the Ronin S. So you would definitely want to go with something smaller, maybe a 5-inch monitor like the Bestview S5 monitor, which is a little smaller. Of course, each project is going to be different, so you really need to have a clear objective to using one of these monitors. You have to weigh the positives and the negatives and see whether it's justifiable for your project or not. So a special thank you to Bestview for sending me the R7 monitor for this video. They approached me and asked me if I could check it out and give my honest opinion on it, which I feel like I have done. But what about you guys? Do you use an external field monitor? If so, which one? And for what reasons? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, guys, do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting up that bell button for notifications on new content. Talking about new content, if there's something in particular on filmmaking or videography that you want me to cover in the future, again, let me know down in the comment section below. In the meantime, guys, stay creative, imagine, implement, and inspire, and I'll catch you next time on KaiCreative.